Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of TFG Radio. Tonight it is myself, Adam, and currently I am joined by John, who's not on the Wheels of Steel because this is pre-recorded now. So John is free of that responsibility.
Yeah.
And Tom.
I also haven't been here in like 4 months or something.
Yeah. And Tom. Tom is here with us.
Yep, I didn't want my attendance average to go back too far to previous year levels, so decided to show up.
Well, and then so far we don't have Danny. I believe he might join us later, but it still counts as an absence, even if he could show up late.
Danny is a professor, so he knows that if he is 15 minutes late, we don't have to stay for him.
We don't have class.
I appreciate the fact that Adam takes attendance like a college professor, and we, like college students, could not give a shit less about his attendance.
I kind of like it. It lets me relive certain parts of my previous life.
Your happier life.
Yeah,
happier
for sure.
life.
I mean, it was happier for me because I scheduled my classes so I had Mondays and Fridays off.
Yeah, I mean, who didn't?
Dude.
Well, the stupid people didn't, I suppose.
Yeah. Mine were a bit luck of the draw. It just depended on what schedule you were assigned. So there were like different schedules, but you got thrown onto one schedule.
Oh.
My senior year was the best schedule ever. I was done by lunch, and it was like, thank God, this is my senior year schedule.
It's always nice.
Yeah, well, the only way I could get the Monday Friday was by scheduling like a class at 8:30 in the morning, and then at like 5:30 that evening that same day.
Yeah.
So that was worth it.
I didn't care what I had to do. I would take night classes and everything just to make sure that I was only in school 3 days a week.
There were a few night classes, but moving on. It's been a busy last couple of weeks, especially this last week.
Onward and upward.
Especially this last week, we had a few things going on. Literally the day after I posted the video, the Chaos Codex was put on pre-order. Was announced for pre-order, and last week was the pre-order date. So all the cool kids put out their pre-order Codex peak. So we got to look at a lot of stuff.
I still think it's hilarious that people in this community refer to other people in this community as the cool kids.
They're cool kids only that they get the stuff.
When demonstrably nobody in this community was ever the cool kids.
It's all relative.
I do not agree with relativism as a concept, and so therefore I will not be. I am only ever going to take any advice at all on anything philosophical or social from
memes,
kickers. No, kickers in the NFL. Only people I'm going to listen to from now on are kickers from the NFL.
John, is this your weird way of saying you want to transition into a 50s housewife?
Yes.
He wants to
How did you know?
You could just tell us. I mean, again, we started this episode off saying we don't kink shame. That's
that was the pre-show, and that was our discussion about only feet.
Only feet. Oh my god.
Oh man.
Look, all I'm saying is the hottest take about masculinity definitely would come from the least masculine member of the NFL team. That's all.
It is.
Oh my god.
It is insanely ironic that the guy who is the most likely to get pedicures on a team is.
I mean, it's a job where I don't know if you guys remember. There was a kicker that pulled a leg muscle while celebrating a kick that he made.
I do remember this. I do remember that.
Wasn't it Grammatica?
Oh man, I don't remember who it was.
I only remember his name because of his nickname, because it was Dramatica or Grammatica.
Grammatica, that's right. Yes.
I remember in high school, I forget who it was, but it was back when the Cardinals started kind of getting good and inching closer and closer to the playoffs until they eventually failed at that attempt in 2010 and have slowly faded back into sadness. There was a kicker
highly
that
specific.
I know, trust me, because I was very upset and living in Phoenix as a fan. But there was a kicker of 1 year We watched a show. It was like a Sunday game. It was a really close game, and all he had to do was make this like 20-yard kick, and he totally flubbed it.
Of course.
And so the next
Oh,
day,
sounds like
we're
a
all,
kicker.
I know, right? And so, but he was like normally really good, right? And so the next day, we're all talking and blah blah blah, and one of my buddies comes up. He's like, "Dude, did you hear? I forget his name. Let's just call him Jim, the kicker." He's like, "Did you guys hear Jim the kicker? Like, that he was so beat up about that he tried to kill himself." And we're like, "Oh, dude, what? That's awful."
You're like,
He's
"Oh, good."
Yeah. No, we were like, "Oh man, that's awful." And he's like, "Yeah, it was a failed suicide attempt because he couldn't kick the school out from under him."
Nah.
And we were all like, "Ah."
So
Amazing.
that brings up the joke of when the Bills lost. I believe it was the first Super Bowl. I think it was Norwood was the kicker, and they lost because of a missed field goal. I think it was the first one. And the joke was a similar where he tried to commit suicide, but he missed far right.
Yep, I remember that joke.
Or quite right, or missed because it's too far to the right, or something like that.
Quite right, or something like that. Yeah.
I feel like that would be like a joke that Norm Macdonald would have done on more.
I mean, this was
That's the era.
Yeah,
That's the Norm
early
Macdonald era
'90s
for sure.
Yeah. So I already forgot what we were talking about.
It doesn't matter.
So Norm Macdonald, one more thing. I gotta say that one of my favorite jokes that Norm Macdonald ever made was, so he was originally part of Weekend Update, and then they let him go. And then a year back, they actually asked him to come host because he was funny. And in his hosting speech, he gives this joke where he's like, "So yeah, you may have heard, I used to work here, and so about a year ago, I got into this kind of complication with my manager where I wanted to keep working here, and they didn't want that." And I feel like, there's a bit of irony in that, they asked me to come host this show because they need someone who's funny to do it, and I haven't changed.
Nope. That's a good one.
Oh man.
So
it's like me being back on the show with you guys.
So back, I didn't add. Well, okay.
Don't you dare compare yourself to Norm Macdonald.
No, not Norm Macdonald. Just the bad management.
Oh, fair enough.
Okay, so I think. Oh, we were talking about the cool kids and things like that. Okay, moving on. We were talking about the Chaos Codex. Chaos Codex came out after changing my pants a couple times.
Oh, gross.
Because you shit yourself in despair.
Yes, or happiness.
Just because he's at that age now.
There is that too. Yes. I'll let you decide which. And which end. Tom, initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts are I just kind of look back with sadness at the Space Marine Codex that could have been.
Yeah, for real.
I mean,
they screwed you guys.
I mean, it was one of those things where it's like, oh, Space Marines are first. They're going to be insanely overpowered for the whole edition, or they're going to be weak sauce. And it was like, here we go. And then it was the Tyranids actually that got the good side of that role. So good for them. I'm glad.
They're still Tyranids.
Yeah, they're Tyranids, but I mean, I like Tyranids being good. I don't know. I like all factions being good.
Well, right now, Space Marines only have one detachment that seems to be used all the time.
Right, and it's the same one that we had before, which is even watered down from what we had before. Ultimately, just from what I understand of the Chaos Codex, it just seems like there's a plethora of options. It really kind of feels like it's designed to reward whatever kind of army you tend to have, whatever faction you feel like playing. It really just feels like it's beneficial on the whole, and it's like, hey, good for them, right? And like also as like looking at the Tau Codex, I'm like, oh yeah, I could get angry. I could get angry like, oh, I don't get 8 formations in my Tau. I don't need 8 formations. I just need at least 2 or 3 ones that are good, and not one that requires me to buy a whole bunch of new box models that I don't have time to build or paint.
True,
right?
True.
So good for Chaos. Let Chaos reign.
Well, I don't know if they'll reign, but there'll be more. Well, they're playable. They were playable before. They're playable now, but it's very limited. What Tom's alluding to in terms of the formations is that Chaos got 8 formations,
which is not surprising because so did Space Marines.
No, Space Marines got 7.
Well, durr.
8 pointed star. So they got 8. I don't know if they're all good or half of them. I feel like about half of them, or a little more, maybe over half are good. But we'll see once it gets into the wild, because you can speculate all you want.
Somebody figures out something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John,
Yeah.
do you have a chance to look at it yet?
The chaos stuff?
Yeah.
Uh,
Or just whatever
Yeah.
I told you.
I'll tell you what. I'm tell you what. Slanesh ain't gonna be no good,
Oh, yeah, because it's Index Emperor's Children.
right? Don't plan on using any of your models that aren't new, because it's all gonna be new model only. Because that's the archetype. That's how it goes. And also, you're not gonna be able to take your own bag anymore to the GW store. Oh, you have to take your own bag now. So when you go to buy all your chaos models, make sure you don't rely on them for a bag, because they're supermarkets now. In case you didn't know.
What?
Yeah,
Is that a thing now?
You didn't see that? You didn't see that? No.
No. That you have to bring your own bag?
Yeah, it could have been a meme, but I'm gonna go with it's real.
I mean, that would make sense in California, because then we just passed the no plastic
That was
bag
only for
thing.
like certain stores.
Oh, for grocery
Yeah.
stores and yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, I mean, yeah. Don't plan on using any of the ones that are index. You're gonna have to run vanilla, I'm sure. I hear 5 Lord of Skulls, 3 from Chaos, 2 from Khorne will be good.
well, we'll see.
What's the thing,
So
bro?
the
That's
reason
all I
for
hear. That's all I
that
hear.
is there's
Go
a
to
couple of there's, again, like I said, there's 8 detachments. There's about 2 or 3 that I'm gravitating towards, and that seem to be pretty good. The Veterans of the Long War, which is basically Oath of Moment, a better Oath of Moment, right, Tom?
You can tell by his sad face.
I know. Mainly because you can change the Oath of Moment every turn, from the sounds of it. Or when
I mean,
when the first Oath of Moment unit is destroyed.
That's demonstrably better.
And a lot of
Right.
the stratagems give you a lot of rerolls and things like that. The Oath of Moment gives you rerolls to hit, basically, which is pretty good, especially when combined with the Dark Pacts, which is the only difference with the Dark Pact is that you have to take the test before you use your weapons. So there's a possibility of losing attacks if you lose models.
Okay.
But everything else is the same. The other one I kind of looking at is the basically the Astral Claws ones. I think it's Renegade Raiders, and that's basically all weapons are assault weapons,
Oh wow!
and they get +1 AP against targets
Just on
that are
basic infantry dudes,
yes, on everybody, every unit in the army basically. I think
obliterators,
yes.
like literally everything.
I don't know if it applies to damned units, but I think it's Heretic Astartes units, which includes the damned units.
I don't know. Broken must nerf immediately.
And damned units are basically the cultists and traitor guardsmen and a cursed cultist. So anything that's not a marine.
Okay.
They still have the strat that lets you advance and charge, and that's one of the formations you would use the Lord of Skulls, because all their weapons would be assault weapons.
Gross.
So then they can advance. And then use their weapons like normal. And
Seems pretty gross.
yeah, so that one seems pretty good. I like the Fellhammer one, which is similar to one that the Space Marines have, which is the -1 to wound. Oh, no, it's not similar to the one that Space Marines have. But there's one that's -1 to wound against any Heretic Astartes units. That includes guys, vehicles, but only from range attacks. It'd probably be better if they'd included melee attacks, but you know. And then the other one people are looking at is the Vortash's, the Archiphanes detachment,
Really?
which is all demon engines.
Vortash, my goodness.
And then there's a strat that lets them move through walls, basically, or move through ruins, which you can use with the Lord of Skulls. and just surprise move through a ruin to get to the other side. But it has big junk in its trunk, so I don't know if it can make it past all those ruins.
Think it can. Well, it also depends on the format. If you're playing WTC, there's no point. Playing anything with a footprint that's even semi-sizable. Like
if you're on the medium, the medium or heavy terrain board, it's kind of tough with those.
No, you're not picking on that stuff. It's a waste of time. Don't even bother.
Yeah, and you can also give a vehicle the demon,
much like the WTC itself. Waste of time. Don't even bother. Look, dude, I don't work for nobody no more. I don't care.
For those that don't know,
I don't gotta play nice with anybody ever again.
John is no longer a GW judge nor a LVO judge.
No.
And it happens.
I'm just a dude with opinions.
So
and
John,
boy, do I have opinions.
John is now free to give his uncensored opinions about certain things.
Oh yeah.
So it's a new era on the show. It's the dawn of a new era, or back to an old era before you started working for it.
Look, dude, the WTC was way better when Neil was still like basically in charge. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I mean, technically this is only the second or third one, but I mean it was ETC before that, but it's all the same.
Doesn't. He left for like 10 minutes, and the kids ruined it. What do you want? What do you want from people?
So there's that one. The one that's the Night Lords one with the jump pack one seems fun, but the problem is it affects it. It's very heavy. It very much leans into the battle shock mechanic, and the problem is the battle shock does not do too much. And so I don't know. And once again, the Night Lords are kind of like given the shaft. I've made a comment in our team chat about how it was probably better during 3.5, where they had some leadership stuff, but leadership back then did more.
Is that why Alan was talking about 3.5?
Yeah, because we were talking about how Night Lords were never good.
I hate it when you guys get him started on that crap. You guys got to bring things up from his like youth.
It's all our youths. It was literally 20 years ago.
Not my youth.
I literally cannot fathom Alan being any other person than he is.
Oh, he hasn't changed. He's the same as he was 20 years ago.
He's just a bigger, older version of who he was.
So,
I remember meeting him as like a teenager, being like, "What the fuck?" And then I go on our Discord and I'm like, "What the fuck?"
So you might see people try it, and I don't know how good that one is. The other one that I like is the I think it's called the Deception one. I keep on wanting to call it like Decepticon.
Decepticon.
And that one allows you to.
I too like Transformers.
I don't know about that new movie, but.
Oh, I've never watched a Transformer movie in my life.
No, there's a new one out that's kind of weird.
I watched the first two, but the new Transformers 1.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I saw the way they animated it. I was like,
yeah, it's weird, right?
I won't even watch this if it's like I'm bored out of my mind and I have no idea what to do. I just
Nice.
It's like an origin story, but it's just like weird.
It just looks strange.
Yeah. You know why? Because
Transformers was always one of those concepts where I was like, this is kind of dumb. I'm not doing this.
No, it's amazing. You don't know what you're talking about.
I do.
I don't like unfiltered
Power Rangers, on the other hand.
Oh my god. So when I worked at Universal, we had a day where they had the quote unquote Power Rangers there.
Oh god.
And it was for like a 10-minute show and then another 10-15-minute meet and greet.
Uh-huh.
And they basically, and it was a fast turnaround like for the next show every time, and I was one of the guys that had helped clean up the theater. There was a line that remember where the amphitheater was? The old amphitheater at Universal?
Yeah. Natalie's graduation was there for her undergrad.
So there was a line from that amphitheater going to the front of the park and down the hill.
For the Power Rangers?
Yes.
And they like weren't even the real Power Rangers.
I mean, to a kid that young kid, they were.
Right.
Damn.
But it was insane.
Something I learned about the Power Rangers I did not know, because I wasn't super into them like everybody else was. I was aware of them. I thought they were cool in passing, but I didn't get obsessed with them like I did with other stuff. But the Power Rangers, this is what I learned. Part of the reason why it was so good, right, is because it was originally a show in Japan.
Yes.
And then what they did was they took the fighting sequences, kept those, dubbed it in English, and then occasionally would add shots between or reshoots or extra scenes of the American actors doing martial arts.
Yes.
So you could tell, and it was the only reason I figured this out was because I was watching these two guys that like play like crappy or old games, right? And they played an old Power Rangers game, like for like the Super Nintendo or not even that. It was like a computer game, and it was like it was like a movie game where basically you would press certain buttons, but they would still play the thing, but then your health bar would go up or down. So it gave you the illusion you were playing a game because the outcome was always the same. It's just whether or not you hit the key sequences in time with certain parts of the action, then it determined whether or not you lost health.
Like the end of the Space Marine video game, the original one, where like you're just like pushing the button correctly.
You're just smashing buttons. Yeah.
This is fucking stupid. Thanks for making the end of this game terrible.
Yeah, God. But yeah, so like the guy was explaining while he was playing it, he was like, yeah, this is why it became so popular, is because the fighting was so well choreographed and well done, and it was so cheap for the American studio to make because they had half the shows shot already.
They didn't have to do shit.
See, just like the original Godzilla when it was shown in the U.S. with Orson Welles.
I don't understand Godzilla either.
God damn it, John.
No, Godzilla I understand at a very fundamental primal level. You probably also don't get Lovecraft.
I like Pacific Rim. Lovecraft is fine. Good. I read it. No big deal.
Well, I think it's basically it's like one's a gateway to the other. I feel like it's just
no,
this idea.
Godzilla is just like dumb.
No, Godzilla represents this.
Wow.
Lovecraft has like all the world building and all the depth and all the levels.
Well, right.
Godzilla's like, oh, this lizard,
big monster.
Grew. Yeah, it's a big monster because nuclear weapons are bad. Okay.
No, but it's okay.
Like,
so
we know nuclear weapons are bad. Okay.
It's different parts of the scale, right? So if Cthulhu shows up, right now and starts terrorizing, that's the equivalent of a Godzilla event for us, right? We're freaking out. There's a giant thing in the sky.
That's the equivalent of like Galactus coming down and ruining everything. Like,
yes, but the whole point is
like god level. Godzilla is just an overgrown lizard of our own making.
The idea though is that it's the perspective of the people, right? So Godzilla is the whole point of it is it's the perspective of fear in mass. It's fear collectively. It's terror collectively. It's destruction collectively.
Sure,
Lovecraft
like,
is the
Cthulhu
recognition
bodies
of that
Godzilla
power.
in like 15 seconds.
You're not.
What?
Waiting for Tom to. His ears are smoking.
Look, don't tell me I'm wrong.
But you're not listening to the point I'm trying to make, which is that it's different sides of the narrative.
But this is post-Trump America. I'm choosing not to hear.
Okay, now you're just being obstinate.
This is my right as an American.
I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that.
Oh my god. Okay.
Stop trying to take my rights.
Is it possible to make club soda stronger?
You're the one who doesn't.
You're the one who doesn't drink anymore. You should have known.
So back to Decepticons.
Yes.
In that detachment, you can infiltrate if you're playing 2,000 points, up to 3 units of cultists and 3 units of legionnaires.
Which is insane.
Seems pretty good. Pretty good.
So my already painted Alpha Legion army, I'm just going to proxy all those Space Marine models as Chaos Marine models, and I'm going to start playing Chaos.
Wasn't that the entire point of doing it that way?
Yes, and now now the Long War has come into play, and I've won.
And now
my plan has come to fruition. My plans within plans, baby.
They do still have the make your vehicle explode strat, which is hilarious.
I love that. I love that for me.
And it's any enemy unit that has deadly demise, so it could be a monster or a vehicle, and not as long as it's non-Titanic.
That's fun.
That's a smart balance.
So
Is it-
imagine exploding a resurrecting corn every other turn.
Nice. I like it.
It's hilarious.
I'm okay with this.
And they also have an enhancement that lets you.
Place your warlord, right?
Yeah, what you do is you put your warlord in reserve, and during the game, when the reserves come in, instead of deep striking him or whatever, you replace a legionnaire or I think chosen. It has to be a chaos lord. You can't be in terminator armor or have a jump back. You kill the model, but it doesn't trigger anything for dying, and you replace that model with your lord.
So basically, like if you had a legionnaire champion, you would replace the champion.
No, it can be any model.
It could be any model. Okay, interesting. So you could
You just can't go past the numbers of leaders in a unit. So it either can't have a leader, or
it has to be something that allows multiple leaders.
yes, like the Master of Executions. So
Yeah.
so he can be in a unit that already has a leader.
Right. That's really cool. But I think the problem with that, there's a upshot and a downshot. The downshot to that is your warlord or the dude who's wearing that is probably not very efficient in any other way because he's just a straighter chaos lord. The upshot is that, like, for example, there's Secret Mission Attacker, which is one of the new cards, right, for the new competitive
I don't know,
deck.
but we'll get into that in a little bit.
And that would be where that plays into it. And I know, yes, I'm segueing us.
Yeah, but we're not there yet.
Yeah.
I know, but I like doing this to you at least once an episode.
You're not in charge, Dad.
So,
Future is now, old man.
so as I mentioned last episode, I am pivoting towards CSM now. Not quite a John move, but
No, you have to do that within like a week of the tournament.
Oh, okay.
For it to be a John move.
There we go.
Wait, are you talking about your temporarily spoken word only allegiance to Death Guard that I have yet to see actually manifested on a table?
I mean, I have the army. I just don't have. I just never played it.
Call the F out.
No, I'm not calling them out. I'm just more like
I'm here for
it just sounds like it just sounds very like politicky, where it's like I have now switched my stance to this. It's like you were always that stance. Like,
sure.
Oh,
you were always just CSM for life. So.
Astronaut Moon. Adam's always been a CSM player. Always has been.
Well, if anyone who listens knows or even knows me, I have all the Chaos armies, except for Knights.
But you have Imperial Knights, which is close enough.
Yeah. No, I sold those.
Or did you get rid of the Imperial Knights?
I got rid of them.
Well, you have mine and John's Knights.
Sure.
And my axe.
Oh, to play if I wanted to.
And my axe.
But I do have 1,000 Suns. I have Death Guard, but the person who painted them for me took so long that I moved on.
I know where this is going.
So I have a painted Death Guard army that I still haven't played yet. So there you go.
You actually got the armor.
Did you tell them that if it's 30 minutes, if it's past the 30-minute mark, the delivery is free?
It is free because it was a year late. It wasn't
because they're 15 minutes late to class. You have to take advice from a kicker.
Yeah, so we just have to figure out, and I mean the team for Champions Cup just have to figure out what list. Well, John mentioned the Lord of Skulls list, but the thing is we need to find Lords of Skulls. So we'll see what happens. I'm partial towards in terms of a team format, I'm partial towards the Deceptors list.
Okay.
Only because it pushes the mid, especially and delays. Mm-hmm. And the models the units aren't that expensive. So if I only do 3 units of cultists, even at units of 20, it's only 100 points each.
Talking about mid like a Gen Z kid over there. What the hell?
Well, no, he's talking about mid the table, but he is completely base, and we stand that.
Oh my god! don't make me look these words up.
You just gotta look them up because you completely lack risk.
No, just do what I do and have just enough passing understanding to know that you're gonna use it right 8 out of 10 times.
Yep, this
I
is
know.
the correct strategy.
Which is also known as 4 out of 5.
It is.
So
Yeah, I like the math reference, except I don't like math.
yeah, so we'll see. So we'll see what we end up using from it because I have just about everything except for the Lords of Skulls.
So you have Angron.
I have Angron, but I'm not running World Eaters. Danny might.
I thought the list was Angron and 5 Lord of Skulls.
No, there's no way. No, no, it's 2 armies. It's CSM with it was CSM with 3, and then World Eaters with 2.
Yeah, one list.
But that was between me and Danny, not with one.
Oh, that's
because you can't do that.
That's dumb.
That would be illegal, John. I know you don't judge anymore, so you don't get that now.
I can cheat all I want.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So
I don't even have a reputation I gotta uphold. I'm gonna have weighted dice that I bought off eBay that I could try to flush down the toilet when I get caught. I am gonna be unhinged. Just wait.
Make sure you try that.
My best self, also known as my worst self.
But I, like I said, I like the Renegade Raiders one and the Deceptors one. I mean, so that's almost half of them that are pretty good, which is sometimes more than other books have right now. So, looking forward to playing it and see how it goes. Again, we have to work things out.
Most books are trash.
Well, this brings up again the duality of the duality of the design team in regards to the codexes. So, always one good, one bad.
What's a design team?
What's a design team?
What is design? Tom, would you like to engage in a philosophical conversation? What is design?
What is design?
What is balance?
What everything should be.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good response. I hate you. I want you to know, I hate you, and I barely appreciate that.
I just want you to know. So, on Tuesday, was it Tuesday or Wednesday? I don't remember now.
It was a day of the week.
It was yesterday. Sure. So yesterday, GW released.
Day that ended in Y.
So yesterday, GW released the
Kraken?
The new a tease for what's coming out in terms of the new match play update, which includes a new deck, which is called the Pariah Nexus, and there's a few changes in it. John has not read anything because, like a good 40K player, he does not read.
I don't have to anymore.
Well, you didn't before, so.
That's not true. I did.
Now you really don't have to.
Every time somebody brought an issue to me, I read.
Well, that's because you had to. Now you don't have to.
That's right. I told you guys, I'm making everything up as it goes along.
So they mentioned new mission rules, and one of the things they want some of the mission rules to emphasize is the importance of battle line troops. Currently, you can make an army with no battle line troops.
Also called the ones that you have to buy in large numbers, and so they want to incentivize you to do it? Yes.
And they're bringing back Raise the Banners.
And the Force Organization chart?
No. They're bringing back actions, essentially, with Raise the Banners. That's one of the ones they preview. The other one they preview is Rapid Escalation.
Okay.
Which allows you to put battle line units in reserve that cannot normally go into reserve.
Okay.
And that's basically all that does. Raise the Banner does like before. It gives you 1 VP every turn that you raise the banner. So that hasn't really changed too much.
Sure.
But and there's other things that the battle line stuff helps. And we'll get into that a little later with some of the other new cards. They also have a few new primary missions and replacing some of the other missions. We don't know which missions are being replaced, but everybody has fingers crossed that one of them is Serval Skulls, because nobody likes Serval Skulls.
No, Serval Skulls is terrible.
Side comment. In the article that they do, the prepared match play update, whatever thing, where we're reading all of this from.
Right.
One of the images where they talk about the primary mission Terraform, has a
Well,
very
wait, before you do that, why don't you talk about Terraform, because you brought it up before I could.
No, the image where Terraform is.
No,
which you
talk about Terraform, and then you can talk about the
What
image.
is Terraform? Because I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's an action
Okay.
primary mission type where you do it during your shooting phase, and then if you're on an objective marker that's not in your deployment zone, terraform it, completes at your opponent's turn, and if you complete it, they're terraformed, and then you get points for terraforming stuff. And
So
you can
it doesn't include me releasing carbon dioxide into the atmosphere to make someplace more livable.
No, that's the greenhouse gases primary mission.
So it's not actually terraforming. I'm not actually forming something into Terra.
It's what it...
Am I ensconcing something gold onto a throne?
That could be it. It's
Yes
your
or no?
headcanon, John.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And-
Does the TikToks use my Wi-Fi? Yes or no?
You can make little markers
does, does the terraforming mean I put the gold man on the throne on the new planet? Yes or no?
You can make that your little marker to show that it's been terraformed.
Look, I don't know what province of Taiwan China is part of, right? But, you know.
Jesus.
Okay, back to my original tangent.
Yeah, this is why I made you read it, Tom.
I know, I hate you. The picture that the Terraform card is on has one of the most complete and modernized and clearly painted recently set of pictures showing an inquisitorial retinue. And it made me think Imperial Agents Codex?
Yes. That has been leaked. But more importantly, what's in the background of that picture?
Deathwatch.
What could that mean?
I don't know. Just tell us what's in the box.
I'm failing my studies, Lore Master. Just tell me.
What's in the box?
That the Death Watch could be folded into that Imperial Agents Codex.
Oh, which that would be really cool. Just have it all be one big thing. But wait, that would mean that would happen with Grey Knights too, wouldn't it? Would you just have one book with all the Ordos?
We used to have Ordo Malleus and Ordo Hereticus, remember?
It was the Witch Hunters Codex and the...
Witch Hunters and
then
Demon
Death
Hunters.
Watch was... Yeah, those Witch Hunters, which was Death Watch, and then Demon Hunters, which was Grey Knights. Inquisitors and Grey Knights.
And then, yeah, because you'd have Ordo Xenos, Ordo Malleus, and then you could include the Adeptus Arbites in there. Holy shit.
Well, it's the Imperial Agents, so you would include all of them.
Yeah, you'd have Xenos, Malleus, and Hereticus.
So I'm wondering if...
I'll buy that for $1.
I mean, it would certainly make it easier in terms of factions to fold basically two books into one.
Well, and you know what?
You already did it with Harlequins.
You know what? It would make a lot of sense, and here's why. Because the Death Watch and the Grey Knight Codexes by themselves have been... Well, yeah.
Well, they're thin.
They're thin. They're very light. Their rosters are not very big either.
They could make more models,
right?
But they don't have enough factories.
Well, and ironically, John, here's the other thing: by condensing all of the stuff into a single book, they actually have less that they have to print. They can condense the codices to allow themselves
choose what to make good and bad, and they can be like, okay, this cycle the Grey Knight stuff is good because we have some in the warehouse. All right, this cycle it's going to be the sister stuff because we made some.
Well, and not to mention which too, it also makes sense from the perspective of it allows them to combine essentially 3 different codexes into single one, package it as, oh my god, look how new this is, or oh my god, we brought back this.
Right.
Look how cool we are. And it gives the illusion of you're getting something new. Because for new players, it'll be new. For people who remember 3.5, it won't.
Yeah.
I actually really want them... if they actually did that, I would actually get super jazzed about 40k again. Because right now I like it, and I want to play it.
The new Tau Codex doesn't do it for you?
The new Tau Codex was the candle going out as I fell asleep in the below cold, feeling warm as my eyelids shut for the last time. That's what the Tau Codex was.
Yep.
It was the don't fall asleep, Tom, because you'll never wake up, and I chose to sleep.
Wow. Yep. You made the right choice, I think.
This is what happens, Adam, when you make me read stuff.
That's fine.
Hey,
Do you want to read the next one, or
treat.
John? You want to
Sure.
read the next one?
I'll read
I don't
the
have
next.
access to any of this.
So okay, well we'll talk. So secondary missions are mentioned really quick.
Yes.
Basically, they've updated so you kind of know when they go off. And so, one of the new ones is Marked for Death, and Tom mentioned it earlier in regards to I already forgot.
Secret. Secret in public, basically.
No, the secondary mission.
Oh well, okay. So I was talking about secret missions, but
No, it's not in the Mark for Death. Because you mentioned Mark for Death, but it's Mark for Death is a secondary mission.
I thought it was something else. I was
No.
gonna say no. I thought I said command insertion, or I was
No.
trying.
Oh, for the yeah.
Yeah.
So Mark for Death. This is the old. What was the one where we have to pick 3 models and then your opponent just hid those models the whole game? It had a different name.
Oh,
Assassination.
No, it wasn't assassination.
No.
That was in fourth edition. Yeah.
No, it was in
No.
8th or 9th.
They had one in fourth edition where like you had to assassinate, and so they're like, oh yeah, I'll just keep my characters.
No, this is the one where you have to.
units.
Okay, so Mark for
That-
Death is your opponent picks 3 models and you have to kill one of those 3 models to get the points.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
What was it
That
called?
terrible, too. I don't remember. It
I
was
keep
dumb.
my-
Staying
keeps
Alive
saying-
or something alive or
My brain keeps saying gangbusters, but I know
it's
it's
not
that one.
Gangbusters.
I know it's
Wow.
not.
Uh,
I know it's not gangbusters. I remember gangbusters.
oh, what was it called?
Gangbusters is why I didn't bring crisis suits for like a whole edition.
Was it not hard to kill? Was it hard to kill?
Priority targets?
No, it wasn't priority targets. Anyway, so yeah, basically your opponent picks 3 models. If there are only 1 or 2 units from this army, they must select those units. If there are no units from the army on the battlefield, discard the card and draw a new one. So there has to be you have to choose the 3 models that are on the battlefield. The funny thing is, you kill 1, you get 5 points, 5 victory points. Or if it's removed from the battlefield for any reason. For any other reason. So if you do the go into deep strike to come down next turn, that counts towards Marked for Death.
But if you go into you're not destroyed.
It says for any reason you still get the 5 points because you're no longer on the battlefield.
That's so dumb.
But
It's
then
almost
again,
like
why
they
would
don't have playtesters anymore?
but then again, why would you pick a model you're going to put into deep strike?
I mean, sure, but like also aren't there like a bunch of different tactical stratagems that allow you to do that and basically anything at this point?
There
So,
is.
like, oh, I just tactically screwed myself by not being able to do this thing that I should be able to do.
So now you can't do it, otherwise you give up 5 victory points to your opponent for whatever model you want to do it. But you get to pick which models they get to shoot at. So you either have to pick models that they can get to if you plan on doing that, or run the risk of leaving that model on the table and not going into reserve.
Mighty sus.
So, and then what Tom just mentioned, they're replacing gambits with secret missions. There's 4 of them, and they actually list all 4. And these are ones that you pick in secret, so your opponent doesn't know what you have. When the gambits, they basically know what you got for your gambit. The secret missions, they're secret, so you don't reveal them to your opponent until after you achieve it.
I mean, it's fair.
So one is called, like Tom mentioned, command insertion, which is basically if your warlord is within range of an objective, of 1 or more objectives in your opponent's deployment zone that you control. One little hitch about the secret missions is that you can only score a maximum of 20 on your primary. I'm sorry, 40 on your primary total, because the secret missions give you 20 victory points. So the most you can get is 40, which means the most you can get in a game, including paint, it would be 90 points.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
And then, so that's that one. Another one is War of Attrition. 1 or more, and this includes battle line again. 1 or more battle line units from your army are within your opponent's deployment zone, and either there are no enemy battle line units on the battlefield, or every battle line unit from your opponent's army is in its own deployment zone.
Okay.
You push them back.
Basically, yes.
I
They
mean, that
really
just
need to sell those troop choices, huh?
well, it also
basically.
that just makes me think it just continues the push how good the freaking Alpha Legion formation is.
Right. Super Tough Legion.
Which I don't care what it's actually called. That is what I'm calling it.
Oh yeah, that's the correct response. I mean,
Uh,
really.
third one is Shatter Cohesion. End of battle. So it has two conditions. There are no units from your opponent's army on the battlefield, or every unit from your opponent's army that is on the battlefield meets one or more of the following conditions. The unit is battle shocked. Oh my god. The unit is below half strength. The unit is more than 3 inches away from all objective markers.
Those last two in close games are very possible.
I mean, sure. But, like, if you're playing competitively, nobody's taking that because your opponent's never going to let you get that close. Like, that's either super top level or, like, I don't know. It's just not happening. I feel like people take the stuff that's going to be like, oh yeah, I'm racking up max points. And I don't feel like there's anything in this that's not going to keep people from doing that. Will certain ones keep you from doing it? Yes. But they're not going to take that. The best players aren't going to take those ones. They're just not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the condition to activate the secret mission is at the end of the third round, starting with the person who went second. They have to have either less than or equal to the amount of primary points as their opponent.
Okay.
And once they do that, they can not score more than 20 points on primary because they're going to get the other 20 from this secret mission. So it's got to be pretty close if they're going to use it. But if it's that close, are you going to give up 10 points overall?
Sure.
Well, we'll go on the last one. It's called Unbroken Wall. You control 3 or more objectives and that are not within your deployment zone. That's it.
Sure. Okay.
So most of them, I think almost all of them seem very achievable, but the question is, late game or at the end of the game, you don't have many units left usually, and if you do, you're usually winning.
Right. That's true.
There's very few cases where you table or almost table an opponent and you still lose. It happens.
It does.
The other thing
but
that's
it is rare.
The other thing that's worth pointing out is that all of the preview cards were attacker cards.
Oh, they didn't preview any defenders?
Not necessarily.
Well, it's the same. It's the same deck.
That's the thing. I don't see that specified anywhere.
Well, attacker goes in the roll off. Who goes first? Is it attacker, defender? I don't remember.
In the after the
I guess it
deployment?
just depends. It depends because you can't. Yeah, because when you deploy, you're either attacker, defender. But when you go first, it's still a roll off. Unless they unless they change it in the packet. What we haven't seen yet is the tournament packet for this, and this one's called Pariah Nexus. So we're going back to Pariah Nexus. I guess there's no other planets to go to.
Necrons.
So
There's no other planets in the
apparently
stories that have billions of planets.
they haven't got their.
I mean,
their
at the
use.
end of the day, here's the other thing too, though, is I can't. There are a number of games I've played where I am just not going to win on primary. I've lost on primary. There's no way I can win on primary.
Sure.
Right. And this, I would rather take something where I can fulfill this niche condition and get 20 points, maybe get up to 25, 30, 35 victory points for primary, rather than just keeping the 20 I've earned over the course of 3 turns and knowing I'm not going to get 4 and 5. Right.
Yeah, because 4 and 5 would be that extra 10 points or whatever you might get.
Maybe.
Yeah. Also, with Secret Mission compared to the Gambit was random.
Gambit was random.
Secret Mission, you get to choose what your mission is.
That's huge. It'll make it. That will make people also want to take it more, because if you drew a Gambit that just didn't work for you,
trash. Yeah.
and it was like, I felt like in any Gambit situation, it would be like 1 out of 10 would actually be good, and then out of those 10, out of that 1 out of 10 games of that would be actually one where it would win you the game.
Right.
Well, yeah, because all the Gambits were like impossible to do.
If you look at the data that they collected on Gambits, like nobody took them, and the people who took them never won.
I don't know anybody that took a Gambit or used a Gambit.
Right.
If they they probably did it early on just as a lark to like, oh, let me try this new thing.
As far as I'm concerned, Gambit's a Marvel hero.
Not anymore.
Yeah. Press
What do
X.
you mean not anymore?
Oh, you haven't watched X-Men 97?
No, not yet. Did they kill him?
You need to watch it.
I don't know what you're talking about. Who's Gambit?
What's a Gambit?
Have you guys heard of this guy named Wolverine who's got claws?
This is one of those things where it's like, I know you're probably referencing that happens in the show, but it could be sea lining, or you could also be trying to pull a Nelson Mandela effect on me. Tom, there's never been a Gambit hero, and I'm like, what? And I go through it. It turns out I've just been Nelson Mandela on Gambit for like 30 years.
I mean, yeah,
Watch the
why
show.
not?
Just watch the show.
Okay.
They just finished the last episode just came out. Like it just came out.
I know there's so many shows, and you know what? You know what also came out, Adam? That I was shocked. It had like a super quiet release, but I'm fairly certain it's out right now. Blood of Zeus on Netflix.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah,
When I went,
love
yeah. I liked the
actually really
first one. Yeah.
Yeah, because it came out the same time as Castlevania Season 1. But I think what they did was they leaned into Castlevania and finished all of that. But now they're like, okay, let's go back and do Blood of Zeus 2. Now that they're kind of waiting for Nocturne to have its normal cycle. And they're like, well, I mean, meanwhile, Netflix is just like, you know, be careful who you called not Crunchyroll in high school.
I still prefer Crunchyroll. So.
I mean, with the vast collection, sure.
I mean, I remember when Crunchyroll was a pirate site.
Yeah. I never was even big in anime, and I know that.
Yeah. Then they sold out, which is fine.
Sold out. Hey.
So that's what we see so far. Like I said, we don't know anything about the tournament pack. And all they said was it'll be out in a few months. So now speculation is on when it'll be out. I assume it's going to be out after the new AoS, which for LSO might be an issue. So fingers crossed. But John, your thoughts overall?
Things are pretty stagnant, so this will be good.
Yeah.
Shakes it up a little bit.
At least they waited a year this time.
Yeah, I do like that it was a year. I was not a big fan of the very quick cycles. I also like that they're not doing quarterly like updates as much. That's good.
Yeah, so they did do a Metawatch, and we talked a bit about a little bit that I'm not very. I mean, I get it. I talked about this the last time because they literally had a Metawatch 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And it just feels like it's like, okay, you want to talk about the new points things and how great you're doing because you adjusted points, but okay, whatever. I just didn't feel like there's any substance to it because Dallas is this weekend. The GW event, Dallas opens this weekend, so to me it would have been more impactful if they did the Metawatch next week after Dallas.
Yeah.
As opposed to right before.
Yeah.
Because then they would have had some data for how the Tau will do with it just being out, just recently being released. So I'm like, okay, whatever, man. I mean, like I said last episode, it just shows that we're here, we're keeping track, we're looking at numbers. Look at us.
Hey guys, we're relevant still, I promise.
So I wasn't too into the Metawatch. It's like, all right, whatever, guys. We also did have the part one of the previews. So this time they decided to split the preview, the GW previews, into two shows, one for Sigmar, one for 40K.
Right.
Today was the Sigmar preview, and I was underwhelmed, but I don't play Age of Sigmar. The only person who plays Age of Sigmar among us is Danny, and he's not here.
Oh well. So we're gonna go with underwhelming. Yay!
I mean, they show off the new models.
New models are always cool.
I'm looking at them right now. None of them really stand out. We were talking before the show, Tom and I, about the new models and how they legend a bunch of stuff just because they're making new models, which I think
Yeah,
Danny had mentioned originally when the culling first happened.
it seems to be more the case for the Sigmar models, where it's
Yeah,
like they look like better resculpts, but they have different names, and they have looks like they're probably going to have like different play styles or whatever. The Skaven ones, with the exception of maybe the Claw Lord, because I thought it was called something else. Um,
Not
those
just called
models
Claw
all
Lord,
I thought it was called something else,
the
but
it's
mischance.
Claw Lord. It's Claw Lord on Knob East.
yeah, so that's definitely a new model
Oh, that's
and
new.
a new
Yeah,
unit. But the rest of them, those are all pre-existing units and models from the Skaven range. That like, if I had the original models, I'd be like, okay, cool,
Nice.
new base.
oh, the
Play.
rattling warp blasters new. That's it. That was in the video. The rat ogres look like new sculpts.
I mean, they're new scopes, but they're not new units. There are rat ogres.
Right. No, but what I'm saying, I mean, they got rid of the so it's new sculpts that why they got rid of all the other stuff.
Yeah, everything's new sculpts, but in terms of like units, like I would be, if I was a Skaven player and I had a huge Skaven army, I'd be like, all right, I'm just gonna put my stuff on bigger bases and call it a day.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, you could probably do that anyway. I don't think people would be too like anal about it,
yeah.
to be
I
honest.
mean, I'm
Mm,
imagining there's going to be a lot of people doing that with Sigmar models too, where they can and where it makes sense.
Yeah, the new Sigmar models are just like the Liberator they previewed or showed off, where they're not as bulky as the originals.
Yeah, I will say that one thing I noticed, they kind of started doing this with Cities of Sigmar. I
Mm-hmm.
noticed is they're adding the more grim part of it. They're finally going back to kind of the more grim dark thing because the Sigmar models, I mean, all of the Sigmar models are beautiful. They're insanely well sculpted and awesome, but few really captured that kind of grim feeling. Cities of Sigmar kind of started to bring that back a bit, and
Yeah,
I feel like these new Sigmar models and even the the Skaven sculpts and how they redid them and kept kind of true to their original concept design. It feels like it's like, oh, this kind of gives me more grimdark vibes than previous sets, right? It feels darker, it feels heavier, more depressing. I really like it.
I think
I
part
mean,
of that is the now that they switched to a metal armor for the Sigmar instead of gold.
yeah, I think it's partially, but it's even some of the detailing too. Like the
Mm-hmm.
faces they're less noble, they're more anguished.
Oh,
Um,
right. Yeah,
there's
yeah.
the whole theme that's going on, right? I don't know the whole lore behind the change, but there's the whole theme that like Sigmar lied and that the reforging actually takes a greater toll than we were told and stuff like that.
Yeah, so
what?
in
The Emperor lied to his sons?
that's original.
I would have never seen that coming
The
from a Games Workshop game.
so in the
Ever.
original release, Tom, the that was always known, at least to the players,
Yeah,
that each time they die, basically they lose a piece of themselves, or each time
right,
they're reforged.
right. So I
Yeah,
knew that. Yeah,
yeah. So
but
that's basically the models finding out that they're figuring it out, that they're losing a piece of themselves each time,
Hmm.
and it's getting worse and worse as the more they fight. So, but I mean, I don't know, man. Like I said, because I'm not into the game, it just wasn't. And the way they format it was a bit weird, because not weird, it was different. Like I mentioned off when we were talking before, the presentation seemed more like a show with commercial breaks, and the commercial
Hmm.
breaks were the videos of the models.
Interesting.
So it almost seemed like they're taking the focus away from the models and more about like, hey, how did you design these clan rats? Hey, how did you guys figure out the design for the rules for the game, as opposed to
they
like focusing on the models.
they kind of did that with another. I feel like they kind of did that too with the 40K 10th.
With 10th.
I feel like they did. There was one like press conference or like set of reveals where it was like it was very focused on developer commentary, rules maker
Yeah, I
commentary,
think that was the
plot,
last one.
and like kind of just that all that whole dick stroking thing. And then it was like, and here's the stuff people actually want to look at, like the cool cinematic or like the
I think
models and
that
stuff
was
like
the last one. But the difference was they actually said, "Hey, let's go look at these cool models now." This time, he literally said, "We'll be back after the short break."
Nah.
Or that's more or less me paraphrasing, but that's what it came off as. And then they show the picture of the model.
And now for a word from our sponsors.
Exactly. Who is us?
I'll give you a hint. His name is me.
I don't know. I felt, at least for me, it just took away from the focus on the models, which I think is what a lot of people really want to see, as opposed to knowing about the rules.
Right.
Because as much as the rules matter, and you know, the rules, the codexes, and everything, people just want to see cool fucking models.
Yes.
Like, I don't play Sigmar, but I like the models.
No. Yes.
And that's all I want to see.
True.
I don't want to, you know, but I mean, they did show the models. It just wasn't given the hype that it used to get, I guess. So, I mean, we'll see on Saturday how it looks. I'm tempted to do a video later on Saturday night, just going over a quick video on Saturday, just going over whatever they reveal on at that reveal, which I think is like at around noon or 1 o'clock local time, West Coast time. No, 10 o'clock. I said 10:45. The reveal is literally at lunchtime during the Dallas Open.
Amazing.
Nice.
I approve of this concept, Adam, but only if you do so in the cadence and voice tone of a golf commentator.
Oh my god, that'd be hilarious.
All right, now it looks like they're bringing out the new models, and
Yes.
there they are.
Yeah, it's at 12:45 Central Time, which I believe would put that at 10:45 our time.
Looks like this is going to be
Yeah.
another new announcement into Underworlds.
Oh no, this one's going to be 40K, Heresy, Epic, and Necromunda.
Oh, there you go.
So a bit more, and I think lunch is like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Said all
lunch
that.
is 2 hours because of the presentation.
You got to find time to fit all those commercial breaks.
I know. Unfortunately, I'll miss it because I'll miss it live because I'll be at Knott's Berry Farm
Oh no.
Ah. Lame.
for a work event.
Sure.
It's our version of the pizza party.
That's not a bad pizza party. Not a bad
All
pizza
pizza
party.
parties are bad pizza parties.
Well, in comparison, the last one we had was 6 years ago, and it was at the LA County Fair with a food voucher for a taco and it was a taco and a soda.
Okay, but like the LA County Fair is demonstrably better than
That's like
No.
that's like the episode.
the LA County Fair is the best. Get your whore mouth.
No, before that it was Universal Studios, SeaWorld. It was
Those both suck.
You're arguing with a pole,
yeah.
John. Yeah.
The LA County
No.
Fair is awesome. It's got all kinds of stuff. Knott's Berry Farm, Universal Studios, man.
Okay, Grandpa, let's get you back to your Super Destroyer.
Oh my god,
I can't believe you guys don't like the LA County Fair.
it's okay.
I'm not saying anything.
What kind of un-Americans am I on the show with?
I mean, I've been to the State Fair in Sacramento.
Oh, see, I haven't done that one. I want to do that one.
See, I'd rather
It's
go to
really
that
hot.
one than the LA County Fair. It's just a bigger version of the LA County Fair.
It's at a very hot time of year.
I just want to
yeah.
go to the world. I want to go to the World's Fair in Chicago at the time that it originally happened. That's the only fair I want to go to.
Did you know they still do World's Fairs?
They do?
You know,
They do. They're much rarer, but they do them. still,
How
yeah.
often? Is it like the Olympics every 4 years?
No.
every
It's
7.
like it's like very variable now. Whereas it used to be more like it used to be more
Oh, interesting.
more regular.
So I'll probably I'll look at it when I get back, or maybe I'll just look on my phone while I'm in line for a ride that lasts like 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's right.
And maybe I'll make a short video on my opinions on it. We'll see, because out of those 4 games listed, I'm actually interested in 2 of them. I'll let you guys guess which 2.
Don't forget to post it to the TikToks for the kids
To the TikToks, YouTube Shorts.
before Congress takes it away from us.
Well, that's why YouTube Shorts and Facebook Reels. all American platforms.
I will say that though, however, YouTube Shorts is fire. Like,
Yes.
I don't know how they did that algorithm, but it is the second I start watching YouTube Shorts, I'm guaranteed sitting there for like 30 minutes. Like, I have to like because I use me. Not all of us are, neurotypical. Thank you.
I am definitely not neurotypical.
Wow, it's Buzzword Thursday apparently.
I don't like nothing.
I don't think being an asshole counts as neurodivergent, John.
To normal people, it is.
That's socially divergent.
That's not nice.
Socially.
It's also just being all right.
Listen,
and here we go.
I already told you guys that I had to write a report about someone giving someone the double bird during a game. So
great.
An 11-year-old. So
you know what? I'm just glad that the kids are bringing that back. I haven't seen the double bird in a while.
Dude,
these youths got to.
You got to do something with your hands when you're playing soccer, I guess.
Boy, I tell you what.
I mean, I think it's one of those moments where you just kind of step back and you say, the kids are all right.
Sure.
They're gonna be fine.
They will be. They will be fine. Guaranteed. Bring back the double bird.
Bring back the double bird. Sounds like a sandwich.
Gives them a lot of riz or something.
Yeah, so I may put something quick together for Saturday. Just a quick recap and opinion. It'll probably be just me because I know you guys have lives while I don't. So.
Yeah.
I have responsibilities. That's not the same thing as having a life.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to give you guys a positive spin. Come on.
I appreciate it.
I don't need a positive spin.
Just a reminder, BAO is next weekend.
Seriously?
Yeah, my vacation is over.
Huh. How did I miss that one?
Because you never go.
Oh, that's right. They moved it from summer to a time of year where I can never go.
Yes.
That's how I missed that one. It went from the event I only ever missed once to the event I miss every year.
So, I know you could play now, John. Yeah, so BAO's next weekend. If you're having issues registering or getting your list uploaded, just send me an email at headjudge@frontlinegaming.org. Or if you have any questions about any models you want to use. I believe...
I'll start giving people your personal email address.
That's what we used for a while until they made that email for me.
I know. I've always used my personal email for that. LVO.
I mean, I've only had the email, the Frontline one, for like a year, so I've still gotten a couple because I didn't officially use that one until I think ACO. So, just make sure everyone you have all your stuff together. Make sure your stuff's painted, and you should probably start basing your stuff. Don't just paint it. We're gonna be a little more strict about the painting requirements going forward.
It ain't hard, guys.
It's not actually.
It's not at all.
Not with contrast. So just be aware of that, and then 2 weeks after that, literally 2 weeks after that, 3 weeks is ACO. And as we go through the year, the standards for the painting for the events will get a bit more strict, to the point where you have to be, by LVO at the latest, you'll have to be battle ready. If you don't know what battle ready is, just look it up. It's not hard to find. Basically, usually more than 3 colors, but more importantly, it has to be based with basing material. Unless it's acrylic, it's because it's clear, it's fine. But make sure your bases are painted. So
if you don't know what it is, don't worry, you've already lost.
Just deduct your 10 points now.
Yep.
Other than that, I believe that is it. Lists are due. I believe the latest is Monday, but don't quote me on that because I don't remember what I put.
You should definitely quote him on it.
I'll himself, be. I mean, I don't
in
care.
An email you send him.
Sure, just send me an email. Again, I already mentioned pivot to CSM, figuring out a list. I think John, for Champions Cup, John, I believe you are taking Necrons.
Probably.
Still.
Jeff and I have been talking about a bunch of stuff, but yeah. a Necron list of some kind probably is in the works.
Yeah, for those that remember, what was this podcast called?
Focus Fire?
Yeah, that's Jeff from Old Focus Fire. So he likes doing the team events, and he's done the ones at California Team Champs. So he's able to make it for this one, and he's
thank God. So I don't have to captain.
He is the captain
I've
now.
never captained a team event. Jeff's like, hey, I can make it, and I was like, oh, cool, dude. He's like, do you want me to captain? And I'm like, he's like, I don't want to take it away from you. I'm like, yes, you can.
Please take it away.
You absolutely can captain. I have no ego attached to this whatsoever. Please take the responsibility for me.
So Jeff has basically gotten us organized. Actually looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I think the last team event I did was that first one or the second one we had at the store. It was the second one. It was the one that started.
I actually captained that one, I think, if I remember right.
That was
so late, remember? And I was like, hey, my team doesn't want to play anymore because it's starting so late.
Yes. That was 2016 or 17. I can't remember.
Yeah. I'll never forget that. And he was like, what? And I'm like, yeah, my team has lives.
Yeah,
we'd like to not be here till midnight.
Yes, that's what was going to happen. We're like, nope. So I'm looking for it. Tom is not going because Tom's not a team player, and I believe isn't your kid due soon?
No, September.
Yeah, that's when the Champions Cup is.
Oh well, there you go. Well, I mean,
that was the reason why you're like, yeah, that's definitely not happening.
Well, I mean, I'm also not a huge fan of team events. I also I only typically go to one major event a year, and that tends to be the SoCal Open. And I actually honestly prefer being, the family at home waiting to hear letters of, bravery or decommissioned members of the team.
Well, if your kid's coming in September, Tom,
I'm playing 40K about how I'm spreading democracy. Those are my letters.
Are you?
It'll make no sense.
How long are you taking paternity leave for?
Probably 3 weeks.
It's very American of you.
Dude, that's longer than I was allowed to take. I had 10 paid days and that's it.
It wasn't even a thing when my daughter was born, so I went to work the next day.
Oh no, mine wasn't paternity leave. I took my 10 paid sick days that I get a year. That's what I took. Yeah.
Yeah, so yours was before too, John.
Before what?
Paternity leave was a thing.
There's no paternity leave still.
Yeah, there is.
Not for me.
Yeah, well, that's because you're private school.
Well, it's ironic. You work for the Catholic Church, which is all about life, but you can't take off any time to help to raise your life.
It's about other lives, not yours.
I can't even help raise the other life because I had to go work.
Yeah, because I think I think you can take a couple 3 months off. I don't remember. I should know, but something like that. But I was gonna say if you can take enough time off, you can probably go to LVO.
Yeah. Nice.
So all right, I think we'll end it there.
Yep. Probably a good call.
Yeah. Thank you everybody for listening. Like I said, we'll call it there. Next show will be basically the week after BAO. So.
Right.
So we should be good to go. So we'll talk all about BAO and how fun it was, and no issues whatsoever.
I mean, there better not be issues.
As I jinx myself.
Seriously, what are you doing? Setting yourself up for failure, my friend.
Tom, any last words?
Yes, a tweet for John that I think you'd appreciate.
Yeah.
The tweet says, "As a woman, does watching Harrison Butker get cooked online count as being in the kitchen?"
Nice. God damn. I'm gonna say yeah. That's a solid yes, right? That's a solid yes on that one.
John,
Yeah.
any words of wisdom as an ex-judge for players or listeners?
Be ungovernable.
Except at events I'm at.
Especially at the events Adam is at.
I've already written more reports this week than I've had to than I like, and I only had to write one. So.
Yeah. So where are those TPS reports?
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. It's not a pain in the ass. It's just it's paperwork. Well, thank you everybody for listening. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe below for everything we do, which includes my reaction to the reveals on Saturday, which I'll probably do, and for republishing the Pod Save the Imperium episodes. They are in chronological order. Seems to be getting a pretty good reception so far. So the next one will be out the week of BAO, so I'll schedule that before I leave. And we still have a few, and maybe as we get towards the end, we'll probably be able to record some more. Hopefully, we can get that going back up. But thank you, everybody, for listening. Good night, and have a pleasant tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
See you.